This is FAB Control. This lock is quite interesting from the historical point of view. One of its main sales pitches was a protection by law against unauthorized key copying. The blanks were restricted and a copy of a key was done only when you presented the security card. Unfortunately, when the lock proliferated enough, some blank manufacturer introduced a blank that was slightly modified, and it was all that was needed to render this protection useless. The other interesting feature of this lock is that it contains FAB's first generation of the protection against dynamic opening methods like bumping, pig guns, and electropics. They called it nuta, a wide overmilling of the last core chamber. The idea was that when the driver is bounced, it would get back above the shear line before the core would rotate beyond the overmilling. The driver would be caught there in a very deep false set. It started appearing after 2002 as an answer to public being scared by media reporting mysterious method of opening locks quickly and without a trace. Funny fact is that these reports were more than 70 years late, as bumping was patented in 1928. As most protections of this kind, once you know it's there, overcoming it is not all that hard. Pushing the last key pin does the trick. It's interesting to note that while nuta is the last to bind, the RBC pins, which are second generation of the protection against dynamic attacks, do bind first. These characteristics somewhat diminish the protective effect. With nuta you bump the lock first, then pick the last chamber. With RBC pins you can pick those first and then continue with bumping. The lock contains 2 steel standard drivers and 3 spools. The keyway is very similar to the keyway that is used on FAB 2000 locks today, and as in FAB 2000, it's quite effective in disturbing picking high lift pins. Besides that, there is also an anti-drill protection both in the core and in the Bible. Anyway, enough of theory, and let's see the lock in action.
So, number 1 springy, 2 springy, 3 springy, 2, 4 was binding, and we've got a rotation, just touched 1, another rotation. Let's check number 5, even more false set. Okay. Number 1 doesn't seem to. Okay, number 2 is giving us some counter rotation. Come on. Okay, 2 is set. Let's get back our false set by setting 4. So, which one is binding? Okay, small counter rotation from 3. Let's see if we can set it. Okay, might be set. Looks good. 2 is still set, 3 seems to be set, 4 is okay, 5 probably 2. Now let's check number 1. Okay, might be set. Number 1 is set. Number 2, 2, 3 is set. 2. Number 4 is okay, and number 5 jumped up, so come on, little fella. Okay, 2 okay. 3 seems to be okay, 2, 4. What's going on? These 3 are okay. Number 4 is okay too. So number 5 is okay. Now we are in very deep false set. And this is something very special in the FAB logs. It's called nuta. For someone who doesn't know, will cause problems, but everything that needs to be done is to set the pin 5 a bit deeper, which is easier said than done, just because it sits very deep behind pin 4. Okay, we're open. Okay. I'll relock it because otherwise getting the clip down is real pain. So, number 1. This lock was very well lubricated, so the pins are a little bit sticky. Three. The wording is fun too. Okay. Kittens are out. Here you can see the nuta. It's overmilled, but so it catches the driver pin very well. And it was the first sort of defense against the dynamic attacks, like bumping. But if you know it's there, you can just bump the lock, get into the deep false set, and just push this pin down and you're okay. Also the wording is kind of funny, and pushing those deep sitting spools is somewhat complicated. So, chamber 1. As I said, the lubrication makes everything sticky. The last chambers are standard drivers in steel. Yet again, the last chambers are anti-drill. Not sure why is it, but it's kind of normal for FAB locks. So here are anti-drills inserts. What's interesting, this lock was drilled from above, which is not very usual for FAB locks, and the core is completely standard. There's nothing special in there. So let me arrange the pins for a better view. So I'll show the key. Sorry. So here you can see the drivers. First 3 chambers are spooled, the rest are standards. Here you can see the keyway with a quite nasty wording. And here you can see the bidding. The number 4 shields number 5 very well. And these 3 spools in the first 3 chambers are also a pain when combined with this wording.